Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me again, Claudia Monacelli, Christelle Martinet, and I'm here with a channeling session to bring back to us Olivia Newton-John, who just passed away. And she came to me right when I was getting ready to wake up, and she was earthbound, and I have ritualized her passing. So she was always in the light, even if she was earthbound. And like I've always said, you know, being earthbound is caused by a number of reasons. When typically, even though the soul is waiting to pass and they know they are going to pass, they're into a comatose state, they're in a coma state, and they have the necessity to leave and they know they're going to leave. Well, the issue is when they have either not been able to communicate with people they love, either whether they have not said goodbye to someone, or they are still very, very much rooted in the earth's plane, and they leave. They just have something unsaid, something was left unsaid. It could have been any of these. So who was Olivia Newton-John? Here she is, she's not that young in that picture, but she was always a beautiful woman till the very, very end. She died August 8th, a couple of days ago. And she was a British-Australian singer, actress, and activist. Now, she was a 4-time Grammy Award winner whose music career included 5 #1 hits and another top 10 hits, with global sales of over 1 million records. She's one of the best-selling music artists from the second half of the 20th century to date. Of course, we all know her as being in the movie Grease, and all of the music that with John Travolta, and all of the music that became famous, and all of the icons that were famous during that time. Some of the music hits are "You're the One I Want," "You're the One I Want," and singles are "Summer Nights," "Summer Nights," "I Honestly Love You," or "Physical," you know, that song "Physical." And there are so many other really top hits. You know, "If You Let Me Know You Know You." I just can't remember all of it. Of course, Xanadu, "Magic," "A Little More Love," "Hopelessly Devoted to You." There is so much from her. And like I said, she came to me and I ritualized her passing. And now there about her, before we begin, and I will cover the screen so I can concentrate more, about her, what is the nature of her energy that I have. She comes with a lightness of being, a very, of course, everyone would think, well, of course, she's spirit, so she would be light. But that's not the case. There are many souls that are very burdened. And she has a typically lightness of countenance. She's very, very light, but she's also like not superficially light. She's very deep as a soul. And her gaze, her energy, where there are when I see her and I don't see her visage, her face, or her eyes, I see the energy. It is always in the lightness. It's always as if she does not trample on, or she comes toward you. And in this energy is very, very similar to when I channeled Diana Spencer, Princess Diana. It's a very similar energetic experience that I have. Let's see if we can, what she has to say, and if I can glean from those who are watching what they would want her to say. Seriously, I stay close to you all because I stayed close to the people when I wrote and sang and danced. Because without people, I was not successful and could not have been as successful as I was. There is a honey-like serious nature to my energy. You may feel this because I was born and raised with parents who taught me that the first most important sentiment or feeling we could have is to make others happy. This is why many times I suffered in relationships. I cannot blame or speak badly of my first husband. No, he loved me until he loved me no more. And what I can tell you is that the true difficulty in a relationship is to love unconditionally, even when you suffer because of something they do. I am not a person, of course, I was not a person who held a grudge. And if there is something I can tell you or teach you, is only to keep people at a certain distance when they start to hurt you, and view them as if you were not in the story. This is easier said than done. And just by saying these things, it may seem to you that I am quite superficial and only thought of social occurrences and fortune or fame, working for those reasons. But I can truly tell you that I was moved by a greater purpose of sharing the love that I had. You may consider my work as pop in the sense of popular, and in one sense it was. I can say I had many moments when I sang Hallelujah and gave thanks for the wonderful success I had. But what you don't know, and perhaps may have come to know because of what was mentioned after my death, is that people who seem to be happy and beautiful on the outside have, in truth, suffered a great deal in order for them to be able to wear their smile. Just think of the suffering I experienced with my cancer. But it was a limited experience, I need to say. What I mean by limited is that it affected me in a specific time, in a specific moment, and never did I let out the cancer beast to ruin my relationship with my public or my loved ones. If you can embrace the notion of suffering as part of a necessary whole in life, it may be easier for you to prepare yourselves for your demise. It is a topic no one wants to speak about. Suffering or death, or even money and finances. But I assure you that death is in the same category of paying taxes, where there is always time for you to pay and always time for you to pass. But joking aside, my honey, which people always described, was a characteristic that came from my looks. The most common adjective people used when describing me was sweet, and it made me angry at times because I thought I was quite deep in my feelings and the way I believed in certain things. But it is true that you cannot be what you are not. And if 100 people describes me as sweet, and no one describes me as in-depth or profound, they're probably right. Sometimes, after I became sick the first time, I thought that because of my sweet countenance and the image people had of me, that I would not be able to become the activist that I wanted. And in many ways it was true, but it is not necessary to be politically motivated in order to carry out a certain movement. What is important is for you to communicate about those things in which you believe, but communicate it loudly. Make your voices heard. You need to salute all that is around you so you can bring it to the fore and make it known that it is possible to change the way we see and consider an illness, for example, or the way we believe our lives to develop and our possibility of accepting change, and not necessarily positive change. I was extremely lucky in my life, first of all, because I was able to have a family. And that meant for me to be surrounded by love and to be supported. I understand not everyone has this in their lives. Just take a moment here and have a drink. I get the impression that, like she herself is saying, that she seems simple or simple-minded or not profound. But in reality, I'm expecting, I don't know what to expect now, but I would imagine that she's moving toward, well, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, let me bring her back up, the picture, so I can concentrate. A piece of guidance and another suggestion I would make to you all is to never have expectations at all, but to willingly give thanks for your life as it is. Never expect your life to be different than it is. But then you may ask, what about our hopes? And what about our dreams? Hopes and dreams are the stuff of stories, of novels, of romantic comedies, and also of life. So I believe what I am trying to say is to thank the universe and the divine for having given you the opportunity to be where you are and do what you are doing. And you will find, as clear as day, every time it happened to me, once you do that and once you accept what you have and give thanks for it, your life will immediately turn around. You will find that you will be given a gift from the divine to cultivate only as something you yourself can extend to others. In my case, it was my voice. I could sing. I had to be taught rigorously, with much rigor, to dance. And of course, acting did not come automatically. And I must say, John Travolta, who starred with me in Greece, he and I did not get along, almost like the story itself shows. There was, of course, the necessary attraction for us as actors to be able to help each other. We knew we needed to work together, but we seemed truly to be made of a different cloth. We had so much fun making that movie, along with all of the wonderful actors who also acted in the movie. I want to say that, and I mean what I'm saying here, my life was not as easy as you may think. I was given a chance, an opportunity, but I was also tricked and conned very, very many times. And I must say that for every opportunity, there was also a negative experience that I had. But I believe this as part of life, and you yourselves can understand what I mean. I don't want now to open a Pandora's box and to complain and say that we need to beat our breasts and give ourselves lashes on the back in order for us to be humbled and accept a life of no future, or a life that will bring us nothing concerning our dreams. But let's think for a moment of what it means to invoke divinity, to ask the divine, and to pray. I and my family all had the practice of prayer instilled in us through our forefathers and relatives. It was a family practice, but there were members of our family who did not at all care for this practice. If I have to say to you that it was this practice that saved me from the negative part of my life, I cannot say it in all truth. Prayer is meant as a giving thanks, not always as a request. And as I said, for every positive experience, I had a negative experience. And I am very grateful for having had all of those experiences. I can say that now, after I have passed, and I see that even my illness was part of a greater plan that unfortunately we are not privy to before it occurs. But only afterwards are you able to see a larger picture and see that you have another purpose. I feel I am in joy, and I know my family suffers because of my having passed. But time will help them. They understand, and I was truly blessed to have lived with my family and have had my own family. Always I thought that I would never be able to reach an internationally important audience or have international acclaim. But when it did occur, my shock was so great that it was important for me to stop a moment and give thanks, but also understand and meditate on the importance of what was happening. There was a moment when I feared that my success was going to have a negative effect on me. And in many ways it did, because I saw that my time was taken up and I was less mindful. And I realized that it was important for me to stop on occasion, several occasions, and get back to who I was with my feet on the ground. Having now mentioned the international acclaim, I believe it's necessary to tell you about what you would like to know internationally speaking. Yes, there was and is still a pandemic in more or less numerous of cases in the world today, but it exists. Will it be eradicated? I very easily can say it will not be. But rest assured, the day that it seems to be eradicated, there will also come another tragedy that will take lives in the world. Because this is the way of life, and this is the type of dynamic that moves lives and the earth. I keep mentioning a Pandora's box because there is something unknown to many of us, and it is our future. Do not try to know the future and do not insist on learning too much about it. Very simply, it is quite important to realize that we are not meant to know everything or even most of the things that will happen to us, because it runs counter to the notion of why your soul has incarnated, which is to experience emotions, both positive and negative emotions. You keep asking and wanting to know your purpose in this world, in this lifetime. And I hear you thinking this, but if you need to ask this, chances are that your happiness is short-lived and it's only skin deep. You need to listen to your inner voice and understand what it is, because you truly know, you absolutely know your purpose. Your purpose always has one side of it that speaks to others, and that is extended to others. And always a soul's purpose is underlined by the notion of unconditional love. Very soon, those of you who are asking about your soul's purpose will understand, if you're unable to do so on your own through meditation, you will learn it in a very abrupt manner, which you do not want to learn. I mean that the universe will teach you a lesson that will be learned with quite difficulty. So I ask you, I extol you all to sit within your sacred space and listen to your heart and listen to that soul's voice, because you are doing what you are brought here and were brought here to do. That you still ask is telling you something about your possibility to understand yourself. Very soon you will see that life and your purpose in life is simple. It's a simple purpose, not an extremely difficult one. When you learn this, you will think again about my words and you will understand. I sang, and that was my purpose. You may be a communicator or an artist of some sort, or able to work with the needy in some way, or able to teach in some way. Anything you do, building roads, manual labor, washing dishes, are all noble things because they allow you to be part of a wider picture, and without you, that picture would not exist. Thank you for listening to me. I tried to tell you those things I think you need to know. Thank you and goodbye. Well, this was, it sounded, wait a minute, I think I need something to drink. It sounded as if she came with a purpose and she had those messages, 3, 5, 10 messages that she wanted to give us. And she did, trying to extend what she was saying and make it valid for everyone so that they would be able, so that you would be able to interpret it in terms of your own personal experience. It was lovely, this. It was really, really lovely, as she was. I hope she comes again, actually. Do write to me underneath the video and give me your feedback and about what she had said. As you see, if you need anything from me, readings or things like that, write to me. I've just finished my season, the first season from January to June of my movement consciousness, breathwork consciousness, and voice consciousness. And I will be picking it up in October. So look out for that. I'll be announcing it. I'll make videos about that. The first lesson is free. It's extremely interesting. It's a body-mind experience, really. So stay well, and I will be back. Bye-bye. Namaste. Bye-bye.